All right, we are live. It's Monday night. We're doing comics again, people. We were doing 2 weeks off. Me and Carter are holding it down on the wrestling stuff. So it went as best as it could do. I still haven't got the tattoo yet, so we're still working on it. But comics, big show. We're gonna try to do a 2 week gap here where I think we have old news and new news and all this stuff. So without further ado, we're just gonna kick this thing off and let's go. Look at all these people. Look at all these people just commenting how much they love us. Stuff. Okay.
We got Yeezy in the house visiting.
Yeezy in the house, man. I always appreciate when Yeezy comes through.
Oh yeah, I try to like space out like all my time, like because I jump on. I realized I jumped on too many podcasts at one point in time, and then
you got no time. You just lose.
Yeah,
time.
exactly. And then like when I took like time off when I was sick and stuff like that, I was like, oh, there's a whole world out here where I can do stuff.
You're like the divorced parents you meet at McDonald's trying to drop their kid off and stuff. Like, oh man, I'm here, man. I'm here. I like it.
Oh man.
Let's see. So a lot of news. I try to put as much as I can in here for us. Give me 1 second here. I think it's this one. I always mess this up. Okay. So I just put this in here as the thumbnail. So I really didn't explain it in the thumbnail, but it's okay. So Captain America has got a new title, Brave New World. As Mr. Colbert told me, it was a New World Order. We all didn't even know what the old title was. So Brave New World is the new title. So
I'm telling you, I think WWE got it and said, no, you are not taking our name.
Well, I mean, honestly, that could be it because we'll talk about the next thing we're going to talk about. But
so how many somas do you have to take before you watch this film? Then
how many what
somas?
Oh no,
it's from the book Brave New World, right?
Yeah,
it's a drug that they use to control everyone.
Correct.
Yeah.
I read that in high school. It was terrible back in the day, but it's okay. I probably didn't.
I got confused. There's a real drug called Soma, so
yeah. Yes. There is also, which is
so what that means though, what he's alluding to when WWE gets involved is Seth Rollins. Everybody's about to turn off because we're talking about wrestling. Me and Carter. Seth Rollins, who's a WWE wrestler, plans to play Cobra in the new Captain America: Brave New World. He's revealed to play Klaus Voorhees, who's also known as Cobra. So.
Hope he's got a bitchin' suit like that.
I would assume so. You would think so, right?
What was the one in the last movie? The one that jumped, the Leaper?
Yeah.
Betrock.
Betrock the Leaper, yes.
Yeah.
And this is Captain America 320, right? Nope. Not 320. I'm thinking
I don't know that I'd be specking too deep on this guy.
I don't know.
I mean, sometimes they're just possible.
They're sometimes just the throwaway.
I mean, I don't know if we have a slot for it, but I mean, to kind of tie things together, characters you never thought was going to be worth a shit or make for a worthwhile, entertaining character in like that in film, The Spot. I mean, when everybody, I remember vividly Leg being like, "Who gives a shit about The Spot?" Like him being the villain of the second Spider-Verse film.
Yeah.
And
people say Cap 310. Is it Cap 163? It says Cobra, Eel, and Viper. It's a different one.
Well, the Serpent Society is 310, right?
This is 163. This is first appearance of the Serpent Squad.
Ah.
That makes sense, Carter? You tell me.
It actually, his first appearance is Journey to Mystery 98.
Ooh, look at you guys.
I mean, I guess as long as he doesn't choke anyone out, right? He should be good.
So it's this one?
Or buckle bomb any actors into injury.
Yeah.
What were you saying about The Spot?
Oh, is that you were making a comment about this character not being potentially worth investing in, but everybody was saying the same thing, and I was like, I remember Leg vividly going on a little diatribe about The Spot when that was announced as the villain for Spider-Verse 2, and he was just like, nobody gives a shit about The Spot. It was around that same time that we were getting like was it White Rabbit news and all this other like deep
Well,
Spider-Man.
there was so much bullshit then.
And I mean, I don't know if we have a place for it in the show today, but I mean, like Spider-Verse was amazing, and the Spot was a phenomenal. Like, I mean, just the amount of screen time that character had still managed you to be like, wow, this is a really well done villain for, you know. And I'm excited to see what's going to come to play out in the next movie. But yeah, I mean, it's the Spot, for Christ's sake. He's a joke of a character. He's a nothingness of a Spider-Man character, but they managed to make him worthwhile and entertaining. So
I sold my Spider-Man 2099 JTC variant. So I mean, I thought I'd hold on to that forever, but you know, no big deal.
Well, I mean, another one that I got wrong was the freaking Peacemaker. I was like, oh, that's just I just didn't happen to be respect reason or another more of an amusement reason. So I just had liked that they were the Watchmen original characters, and that damn thing went ballistic.
So for me though, it's and we'll talk about. I guess we can talk about this. I didn't have a really spot for this, but I don't want to. I'll bring it up. I don't want people to get pissed at me. Spider-Man producer teases live action for Miles Morales movie. I think this ties into Chris's point. We can talk about Spider-Verse if you want. I haven't seen it yet, but you know I mean,
I'd love Chris to talk about it.
I mean, I'll tiptoe around like any type of spoiler stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was an amazing film. I mean, like truly, like as a person who enjoys film, like it was just artistically just gorgeous. I mean, the elements that they introduced into how all the different Earths, depending on, you know, like Gwen Stacy's world was very much so like a mood ring, so like done very specifically in the artwork of those original of the Spider-Gwen comics. A lot of watercolors, pastels. Her environment would change depending on like the emotion that was happening. So when she was sad, like the walls would, like the environment started to drip and run like you know, rain and tears. Hobie, Spider-Punk, each individual element of his body is animated at a different frame rate. So it basically like he's walking punk rock. And it's
he looks like a moving flyer, basically.
Yeah. I mean, he's got like, you know, from an artistic styling perspective, it's callbacks to 1970s British punk, like with those flyers that were made from like cutouts of newspapers and other magazines. Like that's his whole aesthetic. I mean, they had to build an entire engine to make the first movie, and it is a clear example that they are pushing it to its absolute limits for this one. I mean, just like from a styling perspective, it is gorgeous, but then also to story. I mean, the only reason why I would not call this a perfect film is because of the fact that it ends on a cliffhanger. So, spoiler alert: the movie does end on a cliffhanger. There is a third movie to come. So
we knew this, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, it seemed like it's kind of a 50-50 toss-up of people who actually remembered that was the case and people who didn't, because a lot of people, like my audience, was just like that a resounding, like, what? Awe type moment when it was like to be continued.
Maybe just the hardcore collecting community remembered that or paid attention.
Yeah, because originally it was supposed to be a part 1 and part 2, and then they changed the title to just be Across the Spider-Verse.
I'm sure normies wouldn't follow that too closely, though, at the same time.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, the same thing. I mean, I guess with In-Game and Infinity War, people, you know, it was a part 1 and part 2, and then they changed it. But I think everybody just knew that there was a third movie coming that was going to finish up the story. So yeah, I won't call it a perfect film because of the fact that it doesn't have a true ending, and you can't be considered like a perfect movie without a beginning, middle, and end. But that part aside, I mean, there's some complaints out there about pacing issues, but I didn't personally feel that. The movie's 2.5 hours long. You're in there for, let's call it 3 hours with the upfronts from AMC with the trailers and things like that in there.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, and you don't feel it at all. Like, you don't feel it at all. Like, it is.
I thought it dragged a little bit towards the end. Like, where they stretch out some parts, like, where it seemed kind of unnecessary. But that was just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably some things that could be cut. I mean, I fell in love with the film. So, like, this is one that I plan to rewatch multiple times. So
yeah, don't get me wrong. I definitely enjoyed the film from beginning to the end. So, and I definitely would see it again in theaters. And I normally don't. I normally wouldn't do that.
I think. Well, let's think about.
So
the
you're saying
good-
I should maybe prioritize going to the theater on this one?
Definitely.
I need
Yes.
to go to.
And see it in IMAX.
See, I didn't go that far, but I'm considering it now.
So for me, I think too is like we got to think about when this first came out. Remember, everybody was kind of just wishy washy. Like, remember, it was like, oh, it's going to be a cartoon, and people were like, and all of a sudden, it's got 3 movies behind it, you know, and
Well, I
maybe
mean,
a possible live action.
And multiple Oscar wins.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, it's funny because like this was the movie that nobody expected. It was the underdog for real. Like nobody just didn't. You thought it was a filler until we got to the next live action Spider-Man movie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it ended up being arguably top 5, top 4 Spider-Man movies of all time. And this one is up there as well. Like, I mean, it's funny because I was watching somebody and they were just like, and it's not to like, they made a comment about not wanting to pit, movies against each other, but it kind of shit all over the No Way Home. Like, because No Way Home tried to do what they did and they just did it so much better. I mean, the references in the movies, like if you have been a Spider-Man fan in multiple mediums for years, they're all there. If you played the multiple different Spider-Man games, we're going back. I'm talking like going back to Arcade's Revenge on the Genesis.
Mhm.
There is a reference to that. There is, it is deep cut city, and I look forward to the home video or the streaming version to come out so that I can like pause and see if I can identify every single Spider-Man reference in the when they go to I guess like the Spider Opolis of 2029. But like there's so many deep cut Spider-Man like references within that segment. It's just kind of ridiculous. So there's something there for everybody who has been a casual Spider-Man fan over the last 80 years.
No, this is on Hulu. No, Into the Spider-Verse right now, I guess, is currently on Hulu. You can watch it on Hulu. But when this comes out, it's not gonna go on Disney Plus, right? It'll go on like something else.
Yeah, we go on something else because like the first one was originally on Netflix.
Netflix, I thought.
I think
That's
it's
what
whoever's going to pay up. I don't know who's got the deal right now.
Yeah, it'll be whoever pays up, and then it will probably also find its way to
I would guess Amazon, right, with their connection with Sony.
Actually, no, Stars, because Stars has a connection to Sony as well.
Oh, fucking Stars!
Yeah.
Stars is weird that like they're like they've got some deal because all of Sony's like films just kind of end up there.
Yeah. Interesting.
I had heard something that like Sony's the one studio making money right now because they're not trying to do a streaming service and they're just selling content.
Oh, because they just lease it out to whoever's willing to pay.
Hey man, I mean that's a lane too, man. I mean, hell, if you're getting smoked, why come out with an app and you get smoked even more?
Yeah, but I guess we can like dig into,
or just let Hulu buy it or Netflix buy it, right?
Yeah,
or merge into one company.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess to like comment on what's actually on the screen right now.
Yeah.
It's funny because there's been like, I mean, I actually just got done reading some stuff like where Shamik Moore has been like lobbying him, and everybody's just like, dude, you're too old. Like he's 29, about to be 30, and it's just like you're too old to play the part. But I mean, this came from it's one thing to be like producers. It's like, no, this came from Amy Pascal. Like at the premiere, she said, like she straight up said, because like Avia Red says a bunch of bullshit. Like you take what he says with a grain of salt. But like Amy Pascal shit was just like, yeah, like there's live action Miles Morales in the works. So
I mean, at least it's been confirmed, and at least it kind of warrants the insane prices of US4 variants and all this crazy shit. Remember 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, whatever it was like you're paying $40,000 for a book that doesn't even fucking have a character announcement. It's just like, I mean,
I still think you paid too much at the time.
I mean, I think so too, but I mean,
yeah, they're down to about 30 to 33 right now. I think for the.
So okay, let's look about
Make
this.
some real profit on that book, though. You know, it needs to be just amazing.
Does it go? Do you think I mean, here's the other crazy question, because we talked about this with like TMT #1 first prints at like $30,000, and we told people not to buy it. Do you buy UF1s or UF4 variants right now for $30,000? And it, I mean, you're holding. Don't get me wrong, you're holding. But
if you're gonna play that game, play the standard.
Yeah.
There's more chance to double 2K than there is to double 30K.
Sure. And I mean, also too, like you got to hold on it for long enough for it to truly, I mean, outside of like, how much people currently love him, it's he is starting to become the Spider-Man of a generation. So you're kind of going to have to wait for that type of thing to shift and happen. So probably another 10, maybe 15 years for the kids who are like Miles Morales is my Spider-Man to get old enough to move those type of books.
And Miles is in like little kid cartoons my kid watches right now on like a Disney channel.
Yeah, I mean, like
Nickelodeon or whatever the hell it is. I can't remember what it is.
I mean, if your kid's under 10 years old, like this is their Spider-Man.
Yep.
Like
it's Ghost Spider, it's Spider-Man, which is like Peter Parker, but it's Ghost Spider, and then it's Miles.
His name is Spin, right?
Yeah, Spin. Yeah, it's Spin. Yeah.
Yeah, they only call him Miles a lot.
That's true.
I mean, just going on my nephew, he's like 3, and he always says Miles.
Yeah.
The game to play is to buy it 8 years ago when it was $40.
Or in 5 and below packs.
Yeah.
Or take a time machine and go find.
Well, you know what's funny?
Packs.
I wrote an article on comicbookinvest.com way before like when in infancy, and I said you should start buying UF4 books. And I even take my own advice. Like it's gonna happen. And this was 20. God, what was it? Z probably 2013, 2014.
Should have.
What was it like when it was at that point when they were approaching like what $50 at the time or something?
Oh
like
shit, dude! I could have bought a long box. People had them in long boxes. I mean, UF4s in like a long box, and we're like, yeah, oh man, I'll just $5 a piece or something. I'm like, nobody's gonna buy that shit. And they had UF4 variants for like $300.
Yeah,
crazy,
dumbass.
Yeah,
yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Because I remember seeing a UF4 variant for like $100 for the longest time at the store, and be like, I already got one.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I guess the real question is like, who's that next character that you invest in right now that has potential to be that in 10 or 20 years?
That's man, they throw in so many fucking characters out. It's tough to sift through all the crap.
You mean you're not dumping your money?
Problem
you're not dumping your money into Spider-Boy?
Yeah.
No, I just think we're in that, kind of like the 90s, we're in that glut where they're just going to throw a new character in every issue, and there's so freaking many of them that, trying to pick one out of 1,000 is tough. When Miles came out, yeah, they're always making new characters, but it wasn't like weekly like this sometimes,
No, you're not wrong. I mean, it was like, you get a couple new characters during the entire run of a creator type situation that had merit to them. Now it's like every new issue has somebody's first appearance.
Yeah, I think you're just gonna have to wait a while for some of these things to mature a bit and see. I mean, specking on somebody that's on their first issue it's a tough fucking game.
What do you think it would be better for, like, I don't know, Fantastic Four characters or maybe X-Men characters that
I think it's X-Men, but like you said, X-Men ones are I guess dropping. I guess we kind of talk about not the highs they were, but I mean it's like we all went to the Gambit game, right? Remember Gambit was the hottest thing, and no one gives 2 fucks about Gambit. I mean it's just so many cycles that
the X-Men game is probably your the best chance of hitting something, but again, there's so many like obscure freaking X-Men that could show up.
That's why I don't think it's going to be I don't think the way to go necessarily is X-Men hero characters. I think you kind of look at, because again, the X-Men are going to be a big deal. Who, from a villain perspective, can you invest in that could carry or be their Thanos, be their, I would say Kang, but we'll see how that's going. But be their Thanos, the big bad that they're leading up to, because they're not going to use anyone that they've really already used. So you're not going to get Apocalypse. I mean, you might get Magneto.
Mr. Sinister, maybe.
So, yeah, Sinister's got possibility. I mean, also, too, like, they kind of, are probably going to, like, disregard 90% of the older X-Men stories, and they're probably going to cherry pick a lot from these last couple things that have come out, because it just kind of seems to be Marvel's formula at this point.
Well, you can't. If they do the Dark Phoenix skit, I'm going to fucking throw up.
Yeah, I don't see Dark Phoenix happening. I see maybe a lead into the Sins of Sinister at some point in the future, or like a bastardization of the Sins of Sinister.
Because Sinister for me was like that's my era, our era, I guess, right? X-Men cartoons, right? X-Men when the cartoon came out at like 5 o'clock every afternoon.
Yeah.
Sinister was it. Like,
well, I mean, and also, I mean, it's kind of in a tea leaves to a certain degree. I mean, Sinister was the focus of a major arc in the comics. You had Sinister it's already being mentioned that Sinister is going to be the primary villain of this of the return of the live action series or the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're trying to make Sinister a thing. If we get dollar reprints of his first appearance, you might want to buy Sinister.
And Sinister's cheap enough, right? I mean, it's not
You
crazy
can gamble on
expensive.
it.
Yeah.
Well, there's always the so much fun variant that kind of tough to find, especially in really high grade.
You. That's why I love you. And we're talking about, here we go. X-Men 97, we're talking about it. I'm not on this, so I really don't know. Showrunner leaves Twitter after Sunspot whitewashing controversy. Oh boy.
So it's one of those things with and I could specifically in like the the Afro Latino community and things like that, is that Sunspot's original portrayal is that like he's a dark skinned Afro Latino. Like he's dark skinned, he has curly hair, like he's
like this. Kind of.
Let's see if you can find one of the good examples. No. That's there you go. That's the original Sunspot type of portrayal. So again, he is meant more to be like Afro Latino, and every time and like over the years, he just kept getting lighter and lighter, and his hair texture started getting straighter and straighter. And before you realized it, Sunspot turned into that and that was the problem that the individual had with it, because he was like, no, like we should do dark skin Sunspot, and they were just like, maybe not, and he was like, nah, okay, I'm good, I'm out.
Well, I get confused because it was like a Brazilian actor was the voice actor. I'm like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, so it was a more light skinned, lighter complexion, non-Afro Latino Brazilian, and they were just like, maybe we should go with the so that example right there is straight up like that's a dark skinned Afro Latino person.
That's what I remember him in the comics as.
And if you go to him now in the comics, he is very like white presenting. And I think that was the dude's issue, that he kept trying to push this agenda and nobody was hearing, and nobody wanted to hear it or have it. And he was just like,
well,
even for voice acting purposes, he was just like, maybe have somebody who looks the part voice acting character.
They're trying to get Steph Curry to play him, so. No, I'm just
I sometimes get a little confused on like a voice actor. I mean, I get it, but sometimes you just want the best.
And I mean, again, it's not my place, because again, like that level of like representation. I mean, if the people of that community really feel like that needs to happen, then I'm not going to fight over it. Like, as a black person, I'm not arguing a light-skinned black person voicing character versus a dark-skinned person. Like if the guy who voice acts Bishop is like fair-skinned, like black, I'm like, all right, still a win, black actor. Like, I'm not going to sweat it. But again, that's for that community to determine. If
like Dave Chappelle said, black actors gotta stick together, man.
Exactly. Like I'm supporting like the fact that they at least got that close. Like, I'm not going to argue the semantics of like, well, this character is dark-skinned Bayou from Louisiana, and they've got like some dude from like light skin from the Midwest voice acting them. I'm like, I'm not gonna that's not the hill I'm gonna die on. But if it is for you, then
okay. I get you.
Yeah,
I got you. You brought this up. I'm Mr. RPK, Daniel RPK. Hammerhead will be the villain in the movie of. Is it what's this?
So this is the Bad Baby El Muerto Sonyverse film. So apparently Hammerhead's going to be the villain, and it's just like, oh man, that's a nice little callback to Spider-Man the animated series, because when was the last time? Oh, and I guess the Spider-Man game had Hammerhead. The first Spider-Man game had Hammerhead as a villain in it as well. So,
yes, I played it. I got to remember. Yeah, it was in there.
Yeah, Spider-Man PS5. He was the head of a biker gang. So I mean, he's I guess relevant again, especially with us getting a bunch of stuff dropped for Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 5. So
which is, hey, look at that, boom, Spider-Man 2.
Perfect segue. So
that's what we do. Spider-Man 2 only arrives on PS5 October 20th. So
has anybody seen the footage that they showed from this?
Did you blink it?
Oh, I did not.
Okay, I think I get copyright. I got copyright strike like 3 weeks ago for some stupid stuff.
No worries, but it looked good. I mean, people were complaining a little bit about the symbiote costume, but I'm like, but there's like some steals of the action of like a 3-way fight between Miles, Venom, and Spider-Man. It looks phenomenal. They mentioned, I mean, who knows the validity? They said that it is not Eddie Brock Venom, and that this is a Venom story. This is the original Venom story that's never been told in comics or movie before. So that means that it sounds like they're not even. It sounds like they're not even doing the Ultimate Universe where it's Harry.
Yeah.
Even though that's what seemingly was set up at the end of the Spider-Man PS4 game.
Yeah, so I played the PS4 game. I thought it was one of the best Spider-Man. I mean, you got to think Super Nintendo, Sega games. They were like terrible. I think the free roam kind of Grand Theft Auto style was great, but I don't have a PS5 now, but I'm sure it's great. The Miles game I heard was great, right? Then they had Spider-Man Miles.
It was good. It was just too short. It was glorified downloadable content because it was like 8 hours to 100% complete it, whereas the other game was like 40 hours. To complete it. So.
Cool. I guess I should have lit off with this. That's okay. It's sad news that comic book artist Ian McGinty has passed away at 38. Invader Zim, Adventure Time. It kind of cut off there. He had created his own series, Welcome to the Show Side. So don't want to really gloss over it, but it's
too young.
Yeah, way too young. R.I.P. So
I mean, I think I had some Zim books. I always liked Invader Zim. I was a fan of Invader Zim, but yeah, just sad stuff. I guess we're gonna just bring down the train as we go along. Iron Sheik passed away too, man. I gotta remember this because we don't know when Carter and I are gonna do another show. So Iron Sheik passed away at 81. You know what's funny? Like Sheiky is 81, man. I mean, he lived a hard life, but still, I mean, 81. That's a hell of a wrestling.
That's pretty good age on a hard life like that. Shit.
Yeah.
That's a very good run. He accused the Macho Man of stealing his coke and his marijuana.
That's right. Right. Outside interference, you brought my moment of glory. Now it's a nightmare. Okay. So for me, like, and the thing too is like, you know, I know in the later years it was hard for him to move around, like 60 to 81. Like it was terrible for him to move around. Like there's that WrestleMania Royal Rumble story or whatever. Remember, he was like had to be in the ring because he can't even walk down the big ramp of WrestleMania or Royal Rumble or whatever. So he like started in the ring.
What always tripped me out were his wrestling boots. They had like the little swirl.
Yeah.
I remember I used to copy that. Like I'd take the end of my socks and then tuck them into the top to mimic that. And
what we're showing people there, so people actually know what the hell we're talking about, so we don't look like idiots. He had like little spiky things on there, and then what he would do is go to the turnbuckle, and he would like ram your head into it, which is crazy. That's what we do. But no, great bad guy, one of the best villains on the planet. So I don't know how I would do a tattoo of him, but that's okay.
Maybe the boot.
Could be the boot. That'd be sick.
I will make you humble.
Yeah. He got there first, so he can make Hulk Hogan humble.
I will make Hulk Hogan humble.
Did you hear the Rock statement about the origin of jabroni?
No.
Mm-mm.
So it came from the Iron Sheik, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, like it was something that like he had said to him, and then the Rock made a catchphrase out of it, basically.
Huh.
This is funny. Macho definitely stole someone's coke. Yes, that's true. Macho stole
a lot of man's coke.
Yeah, I'm sure, dude. Sure. Fucking guys. Back to other news. We're talking about more Spider-Man stuff. Spider-Man 4 meetings were happening, but now on pause. Solidarity with the writer's strike, just like everything else. So,
I could go 50-50 if they do another one at this point, depending on how long shit drags out.
Another trilogy or just another Spider-Man?
Another Spider-Man with Holland.
I mean, but they're probably negotiating another trilogy. So, I mean, it's kind of, and not to say that this is the reason why that like he's more. Because I mean, there was one point when he was talking about like just kind of stepping away for quite a bit of time.
Well, I just heard him say he's taking a year off.
I mean, he's taking
mental break. Yeah.
I mean, he's already taken another. I mean, basically all of COVID. So I mean, he's kind of had to, or no, the year after COVID, after the movies dropped, like it's been over a year since we had the what was it, Spider-Man Far From Home, and so he took that entire year off. I don't think he was anything during that time period, or maybe
No, he did Uncharted.
And he did that. He just did a Netflix show, is what I heard last. Is something there. But,
so maybe he actually needs, like, he's been saying this whole taking a break thing like for the last year. Maybe he actually just needs to commit to it. So,
I just am like, if they're talking about a Miles thing, and
you still need him to introduce Miles. Like, it would not. I mean, I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm not saying that it's necessary. I'm saying for the film to be worthwhile.
Little hand off the torch action.
Exactly, because I mean that's the whole thing. Is that's his mentor. So
you kind of not him.
I mean, yeah, if we jump forward in time and there's a more
if
senior.
We jump back.
Or because you had the Spider-Verse open now.
So what if you jumped an old Toby?
Or
they've been talking about Toby doing a fourth.
What if he finds like the Spider-Man costume in a trash can or something, and he picks it up all Mantha style? You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, if he negotiates hard, they got options. Yeah. Marvel may not love it, but I mean, Sony has options.
Yeah, true.
I mean, because there's been a lot of talk about the Toby coming back and doing that fourth one with the Evil Dead guy.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell.
No,
Sam Raimi. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I don't think he won't do another one, but it wouldn't surprise me if he fucks it up.
Well, so the comment that AOA made is kind of where I was going with, like, where I was initially going, is that everybody who was kind of like, oh, I'm stepping away, I'm going to go do something else, I'm done with this character. When the prospects started to dry up, all of a sudden people started talking about coming back to do characters again. I mean, let's be real about it. That's the reason why Chris Pratt is, it's been long enough. Star-Lord will return was the post-credit stinger of that. And that was not supposed to be the case. It was supposed to be he was done. He wasn't coming back to the Marvel machine anymore. He was going to go be young Indiana Jones, yada, yada, yada. And every single thing that he thought was going to be like his next, big flagship, franchise kind of fell apart. So at this point, he's got Mario voice acting. And yeah, they've already committed to more Mario films in the future. But yeah, he can't walk away from Marvel. Everybody else, I mean, Zoe Saldana's got the Avatar films, and everybody else is going to go work, at DC. So
Elizabeth Olsen just doubled down, and I didn't put it in here, but Elizabeth Olsen just doubled down and said she's done playing, or she doesn't miss playing Wanda or misses the MCU or any of that. So I mean,
but she was always, so that's the thing though. Like, unlike many other people in the MCU, like, she was a successful working actress the entire time she was in the MCU.
Yes.
Like, her, Ruffalo were able to do things that actually, like, they were using Marvel to fund those indie projects, like, one for them, one for me type thing, and they actually were successful in their one for them.
I almost put Rudd in that character.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been working for 20 years.
Well, but I'm just trying to think of what he did in between Ant-Man films.
Well, I think the people.
I don't even know if he. I mean, I just think he does a lot of little. He does a lot of little stuff,
It's like Daniel Radcliffe.
Never like chasing like big starring roles. He's always like a side character.
Yeah, it's like Radcliffe, right? Like, Radcliffe does indie shit now because he's on Harry Potter money. He doesn't care too much about anything. He just hangs out.
Yeah, but I'm just saying though, like, when your other things aren't as successful and you've gotten accustomed to a certain quality of life, like, I mean, let's be real about it. Like, all those, it was like, well, RDJ, I mean, financially he's probably fine. He doesn't need to come back and do it, but like, nothing that he has done since Iron Man has been successful.
But I mean, to be fair, he never had like crazy movies. He was always critically acclaimed, but like, he never made a shit ton of money before Marvel.
Well, true. No, he didn't make a shit ton of money, but like, legitimately, the ones that he's done since being a part of Marvel Machine, with the exception of like The Judge, have been flops. Well, I mean, the Guy Ritchie, Doctor or Sherlock Holmes films were semi-successful, but like, that Dr. Dolittle film was the one thing that he's been in since, and that thing bombed hard.
Well, I think too that people don't realize either is, like, I think I know we do, but like when you're on set, it's long hours, it's long days, and you can't talk about it for 6 months, a year, and then you got multiple shit going on. You can't talk about it. You only can promote it, and you like got to check with everybody because you can't spoil anything or do anything. So it's not like a movie where like, hey, I did it. It's about nothing really. I can go out and promote it and talk about it and do all this shit. It's like tough.
Yeah, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like being a part of the Marvel machine, like a machine like that, it's got to be hard. But I mean, like I'm just saying that people are starting to come back because, again, with the exception of Ruffalo and Elizabeth Olsen, like, I mean, what's his face? New Captain America stayed making movies through other movies, and none of them things were worth going to see. With the exception
Helmsworth's done some okay stuff.
Yeah, but he's been like cameo character, and he's got those like Netflix films, The Extraction, which is a new one coming out this weekend. But
I mean, he at least did something they wanted to make another of.
He did a National Geographic fucking thing.
He's got the Hogan thing coming.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see where he ends up.
I think he's probably okay.
But I think it's more so trying to avoid being typecast as that character because most of these people didn't have, with the exception of a handful of them, most of them didn't have real careers prior to being cast into.
Yeah.
And he's also not like drawn the line, I'm not coming back ever. Yeah. He's always like,
No.
We can talk about it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I think too is that he's
never been like, I'm done.
Well, a lot of people are picky when they come to roles too. Like, I don't know if Holland is or but I know they should have the choice to and be that. But I think some people get too picky, and then some people are like, oh, I'm just going to try to make a quick success, and like you said, nothing really sticks or something happens, and then you're like, oh, I got to go back because.
I mean, I will say never, like everybody said at this point, just never do a Russo brothers film outside of Marvel because all of them have been absolute garbage.
Well, I mean, we can talk about everybody, it's like Yellowstone, Sons of Anarchy, like, that guy's Sheridan's supposed to be Taylor Sheridan's supposed to be the fucking TV god, and like he can't get past the first season to make it fucking watchable, but I digress into other things. Next thing, I just brought this because Rick Dotson, Terrifier 3. Bigger budget for a threequel trilogy after second film's box office breakout. So, I didn't see the first two, man. I don't know. So
I only hear terrible or terrifying things, so I don't want to get into it.
I mean, it's return to gore porn.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it watchable, Carter?
Yeah, like a lot of people say, oh, I can't. They're like,
is it worse than Hostel? Is it worse than Hostel when Hostel came out or Saw?
I mean. When I saw it, it was because I'm not really into horror movies I don't even remember watching Saw at all, or any of them. But
I watched it in the movie theater.
I saw this and I was just like, yeah. Okay.
Oh, so it's not as crazy as it's made out to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, but it's I didn't.
If you're comparing it to Hostel, it's like okay, we're just going back to something we're used to.
We're probably like desensitized.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
I
want to end
terrifying for people under 20 who haven't seen the shit from before.
I don't know, but see, that's what I'm saying. I think everyone's so desensitized with the internet nowadays that is there anything that's like gory enough to like freak people out?
I mean, there's a couple scenes but the thing though is that the one scene in particular I think of from the first movie, they bisect somebody starting at the business end. But they do the exact same thing in the movie Bone Tomahawks, so it's like
correct. I remember that.
Yeah. Okay.
Gruesome. I kind of left on this. I don't know how crazy you want to talk about this. Again, it's not. I don't know. It's like accusatory, I guess, is the best word right now. I don't know if there's any solid information. That I'm not the greatest research writer or researcher when it comes to this. Our boy Submariner Namor, I guess you would call him, accused of sexual assault by saxophonist Maria Elena Rios, who took to Twitter to share the shocking news. I know today he finally broke his silence and came out and said it was false claims and all that stuff. So just, we had the whole Kang thing, now this thing. It's just not very good if you're a Marvel villain right now.
No. Could just be, who knows?
Yeah. I don't want to,
especially if you survived one film.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough going. So
Yeah, so a little bit of backstory. They worked together at a group known as Poder Prieto. I think it's how it's pronounced. My Spanish pronunciation sucked. But basically, it was a group that was focused on trying to change racist narratives and practices in the audiovisual and entertainment industry. So it was basically it's a Mexican company where they're trying to like have better representation of Mexican American or Mexican people in the film industry and to combat racism and things of that nature. A podcast that she did that she was on from back when she worked for them got released, and she was like, "Hey, they didn't have permission to release this. They never paid me. Blah blah blah, this and the other." And then it started going down the rabbit hole of like this organization also protects, sexual predators. I was assaulted by Tenoch Huerta, and like that's when it started. Like she's basically just put all the laundry out on Front Street. So yeah, it is not. I mean, just being accused of this is just never a good look, regardless of what the outcome is.
No, because all it's got to do is come out.
Yeah, and people have a tendency of not remembering if it ever does come out that you were innocent. People just kind of don't seem to remember those as much as you were accused.
Well, and even if you're found innocent, sometimes they assume you paid to found innocent. It's just a murky fucking line.
Well, I mean, look at Justin Roiland, right? Like he had that accusation recently, and it was proven wrong. But then he still lost all his contracts with everything he had going on. Like he's no longer doing the voice acting for Rick and Morty. He's not doing his Hulu shows. Like the list just goes on of what
It's easier to tear somebody out than to bring them back out of the thing. Stuff.
Right.
Once you're a real housewife, man, those bitches keep coming back.
Yeah, well, that's all I got for the old news segment. So yeah, I don't know, what was that, like 10 fucking news things? So people should be happy, goddamn it. So.
I'm like, we've never went 45 minutes on the news.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I was just like, damn, we had something to talk about after 3 weeks.
Well, when you don't show up for 2 weeks, let's talk about that now.
No, that's all right. I took the blame on YouTube. Somebody called this out, like, where's the fucking marker?
And then I lied.
Sorry, I had to work, man.
Well, then I lied to the fan base and said we'd be back next week, and then we did another fucking wrestling show. And
I was like, oh man, they're gonna turn on your ass. Mm-hmm. You guys should have went heel on them.
We should have.
You went all. You called us out. You know what? Now we're taking over.
Yeah, that's right.
You gotta listen to wrestling every week.
Yeah, we did 96 Bash at the Beach, and fucking Carter's out there being Hogan, being the third man.
Wait, I just want to know who stole my cocaine. So,
well,
it was the Macho Man.
The Macho Man, you never know.
The Macho Man. Oh. Side note: I really enjoyed the Macho Man, and I only watched season 1 of The Rock, but the guy playing him was hilarious. And,
so that's it. I didn't talk about that either. So Young Rock got canceled. Yep. XFL lost $60 million. A lot of shit. I mean, he got rid of DCU, so not a good year for The Rock. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my god, he lost $60 million." I'm like, dude, that dude's got a team of writers writing him the movies next 40 fucking years, dude.
I tell you what. I saw his daughter in the ring.
Yeah.
On NXT.
Oh boy.
The other week.
Yeah, how was it?
Hey, his daughter was working with some things.
Oh,
holy shit.
Yeah.
Somebody got some cakes. Somebody baking some cakes.
I mean, even with his daughter, he caught some shit about that because like he has been like super Mr. Like because he has basically a whole new family now. New wife, new baby girl, and like always like it's just post about the new daughter and everything, and everybody, and occasionally you get somebody being like, "Hey, you got a grown ass daughter over here, right? Like what about her? like you got your new family and forgot about your old one. Like I mean his ex-wife was his manager for years. I think actually maybe still is.
They're still business partners, correct?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, so $8 production is him and her.
Yeah,
and
maybe she asked him to stay out.
I mean, maybe. I mean, but like, it's not even like having him be like, promoting her as a wrestler. It's just like talking about her, just so that like, I'm.
Hey, they're saving it for a WrestleMania moment, dude. So the Rock can come out.
Some kids want to like not talk about it.
I mean,
Well, he's gonna come back and call her a jabroni, and then
I mean, what's his son?
the boy will be right again.
Father-daughter match.
Well, I think I hate to say it. The whole nepo baby thing was popping off, and people people don't want to trade on people's names anymore and shit like that.
I mean, John David Washington wanted Denzel to stay away. So
yeah,
like nobody knew that was his dad until like people started doing some digging. So
No.
Oh,
I
the
watched that whole
Joe.
damn series and was like, what? Really?
Well, it's kind of like the Joe Hill thing too, right? That no one for a long time didn't know that was Stephen King's son, right?
yeah, it's his mother's maiden name.
Who?
The writer Joe Hill is Stephen King's
Lock and
son.
Key. Yeah.
No shit.
Yep. Wait a minute. So you didn't know either?
Oh shit! Apparently not.
Yeah. They actually finally did something together. Like In the Tall Grass, like I think like a year or two ago, they finally did like a thing together, a short story that they wrote and did a film together.
I'm going to do a TMZ segment, so I can give you all the latest gossip and news and everything.
Yeah, right. You got to catch me up on this shit, Dino.
I'm trying.
You guys could all just tell me that I'm apparently blind to, and be like, I can be the new Paul for a day.
Yeah, that's fine.
Congratulations, Paul. By the way.
Oh yeah, big ups to Paul. Paul, baby number 3. So big
nice.
big ups to
Congrats.
Paul.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right.
Hey, I was the first to know though, because he announced it when he came over, and I had his fucking collection like an asshole.
Well, that's why you had to sell it.
I know.
Nothing crazy here. Just I do love this cover. This amazing comics one. I love a green tone cover with the red. I just like it. Wanted to throw it up there.
That's not a bad price here. $12.76 for a 4.0. That's really good. I'd buy that.
There's
probably.
nothing here. Very little here was surprising prices. Let's go with that. Also another cover I like, The Amazing Adventures 4, Ziff Davis.
Looks really nice too.
Great robot cover. Is that decent? Yeah, looks good.
Looks a little chewy on the spine. I can't tell what that is.
No, but this book's all about the colors.
Correct.
So it looks nice. Honestly, pretty good price.
Is it just me or Ziff Davis covers? They don't, as beautiful as they are, they don't go for as much as they should.
I would agree they're not as in style as EC and other stuff. I don't know. They're also not like super violent. They're more just kind of the colors and artwork's beautiful, but that doesn't always sell it. You know, people want the gore and the crazy and the wild. While this is a little wild, it's just not.
I love their username too. It's just a emoji face kind of thing.
But I mean, listen. I'm a big fan of just the art style. You know, when it just has this vibe of the pseudo painted look or airbrush. I love this stuff, but it's not as popular as other genres, and even in sci-fi, there's just other titles that get more heat. Planet Comics.
I like greenies. That's your kind of
I like green tone covers.
Yeah, I know.
ASM 300 back pushing towards the 3. We saw some sales. I don't know, 2 months back, around 4. Moving back down. I just think it's getting a little dicey out in the world. Less money floating around, and real dangerous time to be on auctions, man. Real dangerous.
Yeah.
Only 15 bids too. I wonder what it started at. Not $1. I know that probably.
I didn't dig that far.
I know. It's okay. Don't worry.
This was the one weird book for me, and I know you guys will be like, "What the fuck?" This is the Greek Spider-Man 300, but it's the Tolmas, this is when they take their extra copies, they bind them, cut them down, and it's within another book. So this is actually within a bound copy of several issues, not bound like you see people do it for their own collection. This is like the publisher bound them to kind of sell them as
like a trade paperback, right?
Yeah, old school trade paperback idea. So I'm not used to seeing a bound version sell this much.
Could you rip that shit out?
The spine will be rags.
Okay.
It's like glued. It's also a lot.
Glued, okay.
I don't know in Greece, but I know like Brazil and a couple other countries, when you see the Tomas, and also Lebanon has pretty famous for a lot of their editions being cut and bound, and those are the ones that survived just because they were in books versus floppy. Their spines wracked.
Wasn't that what they originally did? Was like they took the floppies that didn't sell and then bind them together.
Yeah, so they just had a better chance of surviving then. So you see a lot more of them torn out of these. This one is still in it. I just don't know if the buyer maybe didn't realize that. That just seems like a high price to me because the Greek's hard, but I've never seen anyone pay that much for it like that. So something to watch, I guess. Didn't dig into too much into the weeds in this one. I don't see it sell very often. The Batman 457 second print newsstand. This is one of those weird ass niche books. So
this is the leg book, the leg meters.
I mean, this book has like what 8 versions. The what's it? Is the
Triple
the
zeros.
triple zeros newsstand? There's not a DCU, right? No.
But this
there's
is
a
the one
couple
that
different printings.
Yeah, but I think this is the one that everyone chases after, right? The second print newsstand. Because I mean, you can always tell the difference because it has New Robin written at the top.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting to see this one pop up every once in a while.
And 9.2 for $9.50, man. A 9.2, like it's not even like 9.6. Like
yeah, I wanted to get in the prices, but I just had other things.
142 bids too. Like dang.
Oh, that's a lot of bids. You're right. I didn't even pay attention to that.
I was saying no.
Did they start at $1 then?
Probably, I would assume.
I'm sure you had to. That's a lot of bids. Damn. Good eye, Dino.
That's what I get paid to do.
This was the I have no idea what I'm looking at book of the week, and I had to do a little googling.
I thought you were looking at Chromebooks or some shit, like Chromebook, like laptops. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
I saw this and I'm like, what am I looking at? It's a comic. So this is a promotional comic that Google did before the release of Chrome. It is actually like a comic illustrations of what's happening in the background. They sent it out to journalists before the release of Chrome. And side story, I got this off Recalled Comics. Apparently, the European copies got first, and some of them got scanned and put on the internet, which forced them to release Chrome a few days or a week earlier than they had planned and launch it. So I didn't even know this thing existed. It's kind of like it's promo, but it's like a technical promo manual.
So there's like 9 9s of this book.
No shit.
Like 7,200. There's one for $10,000 and one for 7,200 too. So
I knew this book existed, but it's never like one of those things I search for.
You don't look for the Google book in the G's and the goddamn thing.
It was just one of those like you see a book and you're like, what am I looking at?
Well, I mean, it'd be like finding the little Bitcoin comic out there, stuff like that, like where it's kind of like, oh, that's cool if you can find it at the right price or whatever.
I don't think you're gonna find that in bins. Like it's not.
Yeah, that's true.
It only got sent to. I think it's closer to like a Disney Imagineer comic, except more widespread.
There you go. Just for people to see what's kind of inside of it.
Yeah.
If you want to see what's inside of it, like here you go. Into the private chat, there is a website of the person who actually wrote the thing.
Yeah.
Explaining like the story of it.
Dude, I'm gonna get the CGC SS on this. It's gonna be great. Can't wait for
it. Who are you gonna get to sign it?
I don't know.
Get the creator to sign it.
Yeah. Fuck it. Send it. Oh, yeah.
CEO of Google, Right?
yeah. So
instead, just tape his business card into it, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like a sticker auto.
Yeah, right.
Does that count?
It may be.
Man, if they were doing variants, it could be like the American Psycho.
Yeah.
Bone. The bone variant and the.
Just look at that watermelon.
White, yeah.
That
would be the best variants for this.
I tried to get bone on our business cards for Tales from the Flip Side, and I wrote bone, and it didn't.
They're like, this color hasn't existed since the 80s.
I don't think you know what's funny. So you know all the stuff they were saying in that movie. It's like doesn't exist. Like bone. I mean, I know bone kind of, but it's like bone wasn't invented back then. That wasn't a thing. Like like all the type font and everything. It just wasn't. People were trying to replicate it after the movie, obviously, but They were just saying shit to say shit.
Oh, do you know the noises that they were using to slide out the business cards? You know what they were used for that?
Mm-mm.
It's a sword sheath. Like when they take out the sword. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut there.
Who are you?
Oh, that's one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
But, yeah, and book. Like, if you haven't read the book, I highly recommend it.
I need to read the book.
Hey, I can't read.
All right. I've talked about this a lot of times, but I always watch when a high grade of the second or third prints come up. I know this is not a super high grade, but if you look at the census, there's not many. It's decent sale. This book's still, I don't know, for the rarity of them graded, it's still a tad under the radar. So, I'll continue to watch and see if I can score another deal. And I haven't heard shit about the movie in a while. I mean, I know it's still going. I haven't heard them cancel it yet. So we'll see. Rick sent me this one. He had said he looked at it. They had it listed as good, very good. He said he kind of dug through it a bit because he was going to bid on it. And he thought it was more like a 1.520, so maybe a little overgraded by the seller. Depending on how that comes out. Might be an okay price. Don't know. Does have good color though. I mean, this whole book is all about that kind of the color on those important parts. So,
of how it like overall presents more than what the actual grade would be.
Yeah, I mean, if this is a book they're okay with a mullet copy, especially if there's not a lot of distraction on it. But also, you're buying raw, so who knows what the fuck's going on there? It could be purplish shit labeled. So we'll see.
Or it could have like filters on it or whatever to make the colors pop more.
All kinds of things can be done these days, right?
Yeah.
Oh God, you're suggesting we're IG filtering our fucking comic pictures for.
I mean, you see it all the time, like with what the Edge of Spider-Verse 2, where they don't say it's a darker version or whatever, but then you look at it and the images look like it's the background's darker.
So should we start a comic filter for eBay? This is the picture I took. This is the book, man. It just happens to have a great filter.
just give me a potato phone, like a Samsung or a Nokia, and I'll just take a picture on that thing.
I'm sure you could just use Snapchat or something like that.
Yeah.
Put some cat eyes on the dead lady. This is one I was surprised because this it's a solid sale for this book. I did look. The record for 9.6 is about 1,900. That was back last October. I do remember for a long ass time there was not a 9.8 of this book. I don't know when it happened, but I mean it was after I got back in collecting, which would have been early teens, and there was still not a 9.8 of this damn thing, which was weird for a Bronze Age book. So it was supposed to be like impossible. I was surprised that there are now 20 9.8s and 74 9.6s, but considering it's DC Bronze Age, that's not a lot.
No, and they're all beat up. Like that's one of the first books I got back in. It was Demon, and it came back, and it was just beat. Like it's just been in a $1 bin, just sitting there forever, or a $5 bin.
Compared to some of the other ones in that kind of era, it's still lower census, but again, not like the craziness it was. It's one of those books I wouldn't mind having in high grade, though.
So this comment, I've been watching Justice League on Netflix because it has the whole like 2 seasons or whatever, and Demon's in it, and he's cool and dopey at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
He's a weird fucking character.
And I didn't know Martian Manhunter was such a dumbass in that movie or that cartoon too. He was for being a Martian and everything, he was so dumb.
So this is another one. Dime Press 480. I don't know. I was looking. Prices are all over on this damn thing. The last 80 sale is pretty comparable about a year ago, but then there's an 8.5 that's half the price. There are. I don't think I looked it up. I didn't write it down. There was a decent number of higher grade ones. I think 9.6 is the highest. The whole thing on this is whether CGC considers it color touched or not. And stories we've heard are that the color touch, a lot of it actually happened at the printer because copies just came out shitty and they did it there. So getting a blue label, you're probably paying a little bit of a premium that it is past CGC. So this was just a surprised it's this cheap.
Yeah, I thought so too when I was putting these up.
Yeah, I mean, still one of the iconic Harley covers. Probably one of the ones that just I think is always going to kind of be one of them.
There's another DC book that later in the thing we'll get to probably at the end. If I put it on here.
Yeah,
No, I didn't. I missed it. I'll add it.
All right. We looked at this book a couple weeks ago. No, maybe like 8 weeks ago. Not a couple, but it sold for $2,000 back then. Another copy hit $1,625. So still, you can't make a judgment on this that it's going down per se. Just I think it's just a general statement on be careful with auctions. I don't think many are hitting right. It is not the time to auction books. It is not the time to auction books. It is not the time to auction books. You must have missed some, or I must not have sent them all. But that's
no,
okay.
I fucked up on the Wonder Woman.
No, there's a few others. That's all right. I'd had a Miles sale. I had some other stuff, but truthfully, I kind of went through looking at Edge of Spider-Verse, looking at Miles.
Oh yeah, they didn't. Oh, because when I saved some, I got it here.
No, don't worry about it. It's a fine. Okay. The general statement is nothing seems to have popped. Like
Correct.
The movie released, the only book that I saw any popping on were the Spider-Punks were a little bit up. There were a ton of sales of the Spider-Punk. I don't have it. That one wasn't on here. The Spider-Punk 1 in 50 variant, the yellow one. There were
I see. They all kind of came through at the end. Yeah.
There were 8 sales in June and 5 of them on 6/7. They had been selling a little under $225, and these kind of went up from $225 to about $300.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's not a crazy jump. I don't know. I think it's a great movie, but it's not moving the market. I think it's just not. It's not expanding beyond the core audience.
I sold a Ghost Spider book the other day, or yesterday actually. The Ghost Spider 2 1 in 25 Momoko cover, 9.6 for $610.
Is that the cell phone one?
Yeah, the selfie one.
I saw that one. Yeah, there just wasn't anything that went nuts,
I mean, but like 9.8 had previous, like a 9.8 sold before the movie for like $1,600 as a buy it now. So I figured, I was like, screw it. Like my buy-in was cheap enough. I was like, let me auction at $1.
Oh, that was yours?
Yeah, that was mine.
This one surprised me too because I've been looking for this book for a while.
$400 for a raw on that thing.
Wow.
Right? This was like you couldn't find them for less than $750 back in the day, man. Like,
yeah, but in my head right now it's maybe a 600 9.8. I could be wrong, but that's the number I have in my head. And I was surprised the raw fetched so much.
You got anything else you want to put on here that I can just put the photos up if you want anything?
No, those were the ones that I really had good notes on. Everything else was just stuff.
Did I put that Tim Holt up there?
That's fine. It wasn't anything exciting. It just was. I do like seeing this book. First original Ghost Rider, Carter Slade. Not a crazy copy. Nice-ish copy. Low, very good grade, but that's what you find in that book.
This is another one. This is.
I didn't get to that. I liked it because of the old label.
Yeah.
I think I would like an old book with an old label. Just that's me. I like.
Would you take the
case with some patina?
Would you take the gamble on it and crack it?
I don't know. I think my opinion sometimes is if it's went through somebody that's a real seller, they would have done it already.
No, because people. So one thing I've learned, because I mean, for reference purposes, I crack.
Well, I know you do
a lot of books, and I don't give a damn if it's a $100 book or a $7,000 book. But with that logic though, is that I found that like a lot of like the older people in the hobby who would have this book don't have a good concept of the practice of pressing and cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
They think it's restoration, so they are very afraid to do it because they don't understand it. I mean, a lot of people still just don't in the hobby who have some of these books just don't understand like the practices in the hobby.
No, I get it.
So that's one thing, and also like I've also found that people are just like gun shy. I mean, don't get me wrong, not every book that I've sent in has come back. I've definitely had to resubmit a book to fix what I thought was going to be a great bump just to get it back to where it was. So yeah, I mean, like I think a lot of people, when you have a book like that, you're just not willing to.
I think it depends. It depends on the seller for me. You know.
Well, look at my book. Look at my New Mutants 98. Me and you talked about it was like a 9.0 and came back a 7. Like I'm gonna crack that fucking bitch open and try to redo it again. But it's like I think too, like with old labels or new labels, dude. It's like how many books have you cracked open on new labels? And we're like, dude, that's not yada yada yada. I see it on Facebook and all these posts on all these groups we're all in together. It's like, hey, I had this. It was a 8.0 and it's a 9.2 or whatever it is now. You know what I'm saying? Or it was a something. Now it's a 9.6 or something. You know.
I mean, I've had a book go from a 6.0 to a 9.0 before. I mean, it was a modern book, and all it needed was a press.
I mean, you can win. I don't know. I think on those old labels, think some of the sellers think they can get most of the premium, leaving it as is, unless they think it. If I'm not saying all sellers that know what they're doing, established sellers in the market that know what they're doing and grade often. I think if they look and they see that the potential is minimal upside, they're going to take the premium on somebody else taking the old label gamble.
Well, I think it's better. Obviously, it's always better to see it in hand. Like, I mean, we all know stories of Leg and other people like Chris. It's like looking at books. That's funny too. But my 266.50, we're gonna talk about that too. I mean, I can put that in the old press machine and hopefully that comes out decent.
Man, it's hard to do it online, man. It's hard.
Yeah. Like we all went around. Remember Baltimore Leg? We just follow Leg around. He's like, oh, I can press this out. I can do this. I can do that. And Chris is very good at that too. So it's like, you gotta know what you look for. But like you said, it's easier when you're in person. You actually can see it. But like you said, eBay, a lot of people take that gamble and like, hey, if I look at it right, Chris, right, and you look at it like, shit, I'm not gonna make any money. I'll turn that shit on, others return it, right? Like, I mean,
yeah, I mean, I have done it a couple of times with big like books in that like spectrum. Like again, I did it with I think it was a 1.8. It was like a 1.8 or something in that range. Fantastic Four #1 that I managed to get to come back a 2.0 or 2.5. So again, not the biggest bump in the world, but if you're an old label book and you're like in that 3.0 realm, it's just they graded so hard. So unless there's just like some crazy unforeseen weirdness from that time period, I'm going to take the gamble. Like that book, I would absolutely buy for $7,800. I would definitely like it would have been cracked the day it got to my house, and I would have had an order form in and it off to be pressed and clean. I mean, shit, that 6.5, it wasn't even an old label. It was just person just didn't press the damn book. Like, and that 6.5 X-Men 4 that I had came back at 8.0. So again, I'm just like, I've had way more success out of doing that than I have failures. So I'm still willing to roll the dice on. I mean, hell, I pulled up my Hulk 181.92 that I have, and I'm just like, I mean, maybe it's got 9.4, 9.6 in it, but that's just not worth it because it could just as easily go backwards. So
yeah,
in that case for me.
Yeah, that's really. I've gambled enough times and lost, and I'm a little gun shy, but
Interesting. Is that all you got on the market report?
That's it.
Okay. I got one pickup. We can kind of go around the table. I didn't really show this off last time because we kind of canceled them the last 2 weeks. I showed these two books last time. I remember this now is that Batman book I bought.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that one.
Yeah, and then my Mr. Mystery cover that I need to find another one. I need to find an inside for it so I can.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which
one
never gonna fucking happen. But anyways, so I bought. Go ahead.
No, good. I said you might.
I might. You never know. So I bought this. I bought it off a website or something or a forum. I can't even remember where I bought this from. Old Heritage auction lot. Look at this boy. So I bought a Dead Man. Yeah. So CBCS 5.0. Not terrible. I've been watching a lot of Justice League and all this other stuff, and I'm like, do I just buy? They start getting Justice League books and old villains and stuff like that. I mean, they're probably.
If you're playing the James Gunn card, that's one in his wheelhouse, man.
Yeah, because it's a 5.0. It looks really good. What do we talk about, Chris? It was a spine split, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a foxing.
that's a tough fucking thing. To deal
and a
with
foxing, the spine splitting fox. So I was like, do I resub it at CGC and maybe in a half a month, maybe?
You
Even if
look.
it breaks even, it's still even if it
Yeah,
comes back
on a
the exact same
CBC,
book.
yes, yeah.
So I got it for like, I think, what did we talk about? I think it was like 280 something or 270 something. But
That's a book I would gamble on an 8L plus on.
Yeah. But I just think about things you put on the back wall back there to kind of change it up. But
I mean, Dead Man's a good book to have, period, just because I just don't think people are, or after that initial, shock and awe of the James Gunn announcements of what's coming, I just don't think people are still watching DC Keys like they should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Dead Man's a good play. Like, this gets into the game of like back when Marvel had that big, huge announcement, like, oh, we're gonna do Werewolf by Night, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And if you were playing 4D chess, you were thinking, okay, well, who the hell is Werewolf by Night and Blade gonna need to fight? Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, actually, that's kind of the reason why I bought a high grade raw Werewolf by Night is because Blade got announced. I was like, well, Blade's gonna need somebody to fight. Or they're getting into that world now of that type of stuff, with the whole concept of it being gods and monsters. They're leaning into the supernatural more with some of the announced stories and stuff like that. So it only makes sense to revisit Dead Man. It only makes sense to revisit Constantine. Like, Justice League Dark can still very much so be a thing. Yeah, it was promised and then it died, but I still see that being something that James Gunn can pull off. So it may be the time to start buying DC Keys again.
I mean, I was watching, like I said, I got kind of influenced because I was watching Justice League. And I don't think Dead Man was on Justice League, but I've been watching old Justice League, and I was like, man, all those books like Kilowog and all these other Sinestro and just stuff that kind of like our childhood and just kind of
I don't know. I think you could get some deals on some DC stuff still, and you probably might get some better deals as it keeps getting rocky out in the world.
What I got. That's all I got. Anybody else who wants to go next? Nobody?
Nothing for me.
Nothing?
I just got back from a con, so I have a bunch.
All right.
Okay.
Chris, you got anything?
I do not, but I will hopefully have some stuff after this weekend. I will be headed to Heroes Con.
Well,
yeah, you are.
Tell me, okay, let's talk about why you have so much. So you went to con, you went to Dallas Comic Con, right?
I went to Dallas Fan Expo. Yep.
Fan Expo,
So yeah. So just went around digging for stuff. I did pick up some exclusives from there. So they have, the Something Is Killing the Children director's cut. This was limited supposedly to 250, but I also heard rumors of 400. And then it's a connecting cover with the Scott's collectible part. So
did you see Beverly D'Angelo or anybody from National Lampoons? I heard they had a big reunion there, right?
Yeah, so Chevy Chase was there. Who else was there?
Cousin Eddie was there.
Cousin Eddie. Who was the supermodel? The girl in the
Kimberly.
She was at the con too. I mean, I didn't do any of the celebrity things.
Okay.
But I heard an ambulance had to be called for Chevy Chase's like photo thing.
Oh,
I don't think it was for him, but it's probably like a fan like fainting or whatever.
Or he called them a fucking name and beat them.
Something happened. Something crazy happened. I don't know. Anyways, got this for $5. Betty and Veronica,
right.
Adam Hughes cover. Akira for $35.
It's a good gamble.
Yep. This was the Tedesco variant from for World Tree.
I don't even know what that is, but it's a cool cover.
Yeah, so it's the new Tin tile. So he did a homage to himself for issue number 2. This is the 1 in 100. Collectibles were selling for $100. Selling on eBay for like $200. So I was like, why not?
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite pickups.
Christy Brinkley. Good.
Brinkley. Yeah.
So I got this for $4. I didn't even care if it had the 3D glasses in it or not.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Always good buy.
Yeah, for a Dave Stevens cover, like I was like, cannot complain. How about this Call of Duty comic newsstand?
Correct.
For $3.
Nice.
And it has 6 first appearances in it.
That's an interesting book.
Yeah. Marvelous Land of the Oz. This is issue number 1, second print. Super hard book to find. Scotty Young cover.
God damn it! How much?
$15.
That's about right.
But I mean, yeah. So just look up this book on eBay and tell me if you find it. So Spider-Gwen #1, Yesteryear Comics store exclusive. So this was I think like $25 or something like that.
I can see why you get that's good color.
Yeah, exactly. It really pops, and her listening to music, that's always a staple. I'm still working on my Daniel Way Deadpool completionist run. Finally found issue 3 variant, which I did not have on my list, checked off from CLZ. This is a 1 in 25.
How was the comics? How was the vendors and everything there? Was it decently priced?
There was people either really decently priced or people like really overpriced is what I saw. So
you just had a Benny Hill style walkthrough. Now the dog's going.
Yeah. Yeah. So all the dogs come around. This was the exclusive to Fan Expo. It's a Batman Beyond. I just picked it up because
you got to grab the exclusives while they're there.
Yeah, I like Batman Beyond stuff anyways, so it's kind of like why not? And it has like the imagery from the background from like the animation characters. So I thought it was just really cool. Why not pick up a couple of first appearances of Gwenpool for $5 a piece? Yeah. I mean, to me, that's worth gambling on, right?
It's a long shot. All they need is a little hype.
Yeah. X-Men 12 second print. $4.
I keep hearing about that book.
Yeah, I keep on hearing about it too. So I was like, I used to have a pile of these, but apparently I sold them all and whatnot. Champions Outlawed, the Walmart variant. Honestly, I should have gotten this signed by the voice actor because he was that would have been a good gamble. And a couple more items. Full V for Vendetta set, $100. Nice. So I was like, you can never have enough of these sets already built together, and for $100, because I don't even know how much the issue 1 sells for, but I know it's not $10.
No, I agree. You can get there's some gravy in there right now.
Yeah, exactly, and it always spikes up in price like November 5th.
Yeah.
So I always try to sell a set during that time period. And then I traded Garrett Gunn one of these blood coins for the from Good Boy for something, and then he gave me a metal variant that is limited to 50. So you can see the number sequence on there. But apparently it's a pretty hot cover, I guess. I had no idea. So yeah. So he has this gimmick thing where you trade in coins for because it's the reverse of John Wick, right? Where the dog lives. And so you trade in coins at cons, and I have like 10 of the coins. So
how do you get the coins? Just so people know.
I got the coins from a Kickstarter that he did for Good Boy Volume 2.
So then you just show up somewhere and
anytime he's at a con
for something.
Yeah, exactly. So like the coins cost like $10 a piece, but so far I've traded in 2 coins now. My first one I've gotten OA. The second time was the metal variant. So I'm sure
deal.
No.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I'm sure if I just sell that metal variant, it pays for all the coins, right?
That's pretty damn cool.
But I mean, I've already sold all the variants from that Kickstarter that paid for the set anyway. So
yeah,
it's that Kickstarter set that keeps on giving, right?
Yeah, that's a cool deal, man.
They're doing a Blue Beetle trailer on the NBA Finals right now.
A new one?
Aaron's family cameo. Yeah,
I think so. I don't know.
I mean, because my dog likes to make appearances on all these podcasts and stuff.
Well, I mean, Carter's cat shows up a lot, so it's okay. My dog usually is barking in the background.
I close the door on mine so the cat can't come in, but it's okay. No, that's it. I appreciate like an hour and 18 minutes though. Not that terrible for our super special show. So let's think about this. I always gotta plug it because if I don't, people yell at me.
People yell at the CEO? How does that happen?
I don't know.
You yell at you.
I do yell at myself. I get down on myself. I'm still looking for people to exhibit. I still have a couple slots left. Flipside Comic Con Saturday, August 26th. Milford, Michigan, Rubber's Edge Brewing Company. You want to come hang out, exhibit, 50-50 raffle, I got door prizes. I'm sure I'll just give away books. I don't care. So if you want to just hit me up on Instagram or flipsideceo@gmail.com. we're trying to do it, man. I don't think August 26th is what's around there, boys. Is it Baltimore around that, like September or something, maybe?
Man, I haven't thought that far.
Baltimore, yeah, Baltimore's like the end of September now, or
Okay, good.
mid-September, something like
Yeah,
that.
I tried to do it where it wasn't a big con. So
Is that the start of school though?
It's late for
maybe.
school. School's like early August, man. Maybe
Oh, is
college.
it?
Yeah.
My kids are back like
well,
August.
I work out of college, so I never
Okay.
know.
I
Yeah, it
don't
might
pay
be
attention
college
to that
back.
yet. My kid starts preschool in September. That's all.
Well, that doesn't count. Like my kids
know.
are back early August.
Yeah, I mean, I know college starts late and then ends early, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually it ends if you're not doing summer school. It's probably ended by now, and you're living the dream right now. So, that's all I got to go ahead.
I was gonna say this is when I'm the busiest at work.
Yeah,
This is
right.
summertime because no students around.
So, show up, hang out. I appreciate on Instagram at least my time to shine. Actually promoted the Comic-Con, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I do, brother. They promoted it for me. I'm truly appreciative of it. I didn't think I would ever meet that connection or have a connection like that, but it's interesting to have that connection, I guess, now. So
Nice.
I'm not getting any kind of free information, so people don't think about that. So no, but it's cool. It's definitely a tip in the hat, and hopefully this becomes a big thing, and maybe this becomes the next San Diego Comic-Con. No, I don't.
Hey, you just got to beat Baltimore, man. You got to be a better hangout than Baltimore for us.
I think I could. Are you going to show up? I know it's your anniversary.
That's not my anniversary. Moved it. It's a friend's wedding, and I'm
yeah, that's right.
Unlikely, but I'm still fighting the fight.
Okay, I got you.
It's friend of the wife's wedding, but I don't know if I can get out of it.
Okay, I got you. So
that's where the pre-party is. That's what you need to tell the wife.
Yes,
you know?
I'm gonna drive to Comic-Con and I'll come back, and then
I'll drop you off and we'll be back.
yeah.
No, we appreciate it as always. We always appreciate the support.
I am trying to get Ozzy there, but he's still wavering.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a good little spot. Hopefully, it's cool. That's all I got. We'll see everybody next week with a comic show.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that's it. And we'll head up. So